Well, good Wednesday, early evening here on the East Coast. It's mid-afternoon on the West Coast. It's March 27th. We're heading into April with this episode, but episode number 147 of Material Issues. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I'm over here on this side of the screen tonight for some reason. And on the other side of the screen,
let's move us to the
here
side.
we go. You want to do it?
You just kind of pull it over.
Yeah, pull it over. You're used to pulling it to the left and to the right. Right?
Wait, where do I
click on your face and drag it that way?
It's saying remove for some reason.
No, up on the screen.
Oh,
up on the actual screen, not down below. There you go. All right. I am Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. You see popdetective.com there for the first time. I forgot I could put that up there. But joining me on that side of the screen, it's the middle of the afternoon on the West Coast, my very good friend, the president of the International Pop Overthrow Festival, and the highly stylish Mr. David Bash. David, how you feeling tonight? That's the question. How you feeling?
Well, I'll give a semi-disclosure to people who are watching. I'd been weaning myself from an anti-anxiety med, and then near the end of that, I have the heart procedure, and the timing for it was really bad because that brought me some extra anxiety, and I've been just I've just been kind of fighting it, and it's been tough. I've put myself back on the med, but it's going to take a while before it really kicks in. So in the meantime, just dealing with a lot of body pain and just feelings of uneasiness. Yeah. It's been a tough time. That's all I can say. I hope it improves soon. But I don't really feel like me right now. And I'm going through a lot of brain fog, and it's, I've been there before.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like I said, hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel pretty soon. But despite all that, I'm really glad to be here. And I've got a lot of work to do, so I can't let anything get in the way of that.
Well, I think it's a good thing to keep your mind busy, keep it busy with work, keep it busy listening to music, keep it busy doing this kind of thing, material issues, and having a good time. And it's those times when you aren't kind of processing anything else important that you kind of like start to feel weird because you're thinking about yourself and the problems and stuff you don't need to be thinking about. So, we're glad to be hanging out here tonight on Material Issues.
Absolutely.
It's turning into a rainy, kind of foggy early evening here in South Jersey. We got rain coming tomorrow, but a beautiful weekend on tap. So it's all going to be good. We got a lot of cool
the one silver lining in this, by the way, is that I haven't been hungry. So I've eaten very little. You might even see that my face is a bit more drawn. Yesterday, my friend who you knew as well from the oddities list, the internet group from the late 90s, Bill Holmes, came by. I hadn't seen him for years and years. We went over to a local deli, and I actually did eat a decent amount. I had a grilled salmon with rice pilaf and some curly fries. That was the most that I'd eaten in about a week. So, but then I had no dinner. So, I'm still really not hungry. But again, that's not a bad thing for me in this case. I mean, I can obviously, I can definitely benefit from dropping a few pounds, and I have dropped several in this. So that's not so bad.
It was good to see Bill Holmes too.
It is. Is he still alive? Come on.
I mean, I hadn't heard from him. I hadn't seen much going on with him, and
he's not on Facebook. That's why.
Social media. It's funny if you don't see people on social media because we're so used to seeing people pop up with pictures and photos and comments. It just reminds you of them. It's like, what's
and it kind of makes you think, because like a lot of the time I'll think about people I went to high school with or grade school with, or just people I've known throughout my life with whom I've lost contact, who are around my age, let's say.
Yeah.
I look for them on Facebook, and they're not there. And you have at this age, the prevailing thought is, did they die?
Yeah.
Chances are not. No, they probably haven't. They're probably just not on Facebook. I mean, a lot of people our age just don't do it. They don't do
Right.
social media.
Yeah, it's true. If you don't have a real, even people who do have it don't stay up with it very often. If you don't have a reason to post, you and I have things going on, music stuff and other stuff, and we're always kind of advertising and promoting and thanking and helloing, and but most people don't have this stuff going on. So
there's pluses and minuses. I mean, it can get depressing sometimes, especially during the active political times. So as this year goes on, we're going to see a lot more stuff. And then sometimes people post about their ailments, which is why I try not to, because and some people are going through some really, really tough stuff. I mean, people have cancer, they've had to have organs removed or whatever, and it's that's tough to see also. But the upside, well, as you said, it's a necessity for us. It's essential for me promoting IPO. Plus, I have to say, I've learned about a lot of new bands through Facebook.
Sure.
With other people who write reviews and such, posting about bands. I have to thank people like Don Valentine, Patrick Donders, Dennis Pylon, Aaron Kupferberg, Jeff Shelton, people like that.
Yeah.
And speaking of writing, I actually didn't write one thing in 2023. I kind of took the year off.
Yeah, you did.
But I finally did. I did my first column since then, which went up on rockandrollglobe.com today. I posted it on Facebook. It's about it reviews 5 recent Sundays records reissues.
Right.
So it's all this late 60s stuff. And our guest next week, Sandy Salisbury, one of the releases is a compilation of his previously unreleased demos that I've shown. So I'll make sure he sees the review. Actually, I should have tagged him in my post, but now I will. So it was. And I wrote this, a few days ago. So it was in the middle of my brain fog. So I wasn't quite sure if it turned out okay, but apparently it did. So
yeah.
That was gratifying.
Yeah, good to see. It was cool.
But anyway, let's talk about the number one thing on the table is what you've been doing the last few days.
Me.
Let's talk about Sunrise Sunset, and we don't mean Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, really? I thought that was a remake of Fiddler on the Roof. I've been down the wrong rabbit hole.
You probably have. No, our good buddy here, Mark Hershberger, has gone the thespian route. And I'm not talking about his orientation either. Well, it is an orientation of sorts. It's an acting orientation.
I ran into someone the other day who had a lisp, and he said, "Are you a thespian?" I didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah.
Anyway, tell everyone about how this came to be and what your experience have been so far.
Hey, there's Gary. How you doing, Gary? It's been very interesting. Years ago with Pop Detective, I met a young director or whatnot who ended up doing a couple Dahlman's videos, Bright City Lights and Dumb Me Down, and great guy, great work, young. But then COVID hit and all, and we kind of didn't really see each other that much or talk to each other. But he lives actually a couple blocks from me, which is kind of weird. I didn't realize that. And with COVID, his wife, who I actually worked with at the Fed, was in a bad car accident, and she was kind of in bedridden for 2 years, and they have a young son. And so he completely got out of making. He used to make short films. I mean, he was accepted at Cannes and Sundance and the Georgia Atlanta Film Festival, the big film festivals around the world. He made a name for himself. But with everything that went on, he stopped doing it. And so fast forward 5 or 6 years, and he wanted to get back into the short film mode and had an idea, wrote a script, and he said as soon as he kind of sat down and read through it, he pictured me as the lead character, and
Wow.
gave me a call and said, "Would you be interested?" And I was like, "You do know I'm not an actor." And he goes, "No, you're perfect." So that's kind of the start of it. And then he called in, the people that he needed to call in. There was a cinematographer out in New York who's doing all the cinematography. There's great people on video and grips and wardrobe and makeup and craft service. I mean, it's just really neat. And I've done small things in my life, but nothing of this, nature and caliber type of a thing. So that's what it is. Sunrise, Sunset. It's about a widowed man whose son has disappeared, run away post death of his wife, and he's depressed, anxiety ridden, down and out, searching for his son. And the vision of his ex-wife comes into play, and that's kind of what the whole story is about. And so I play the guy looking for it, and it's been quite the experience. This weekend was 21 hours or so of filming, first parts of things, and we've got a number more filming things to go over the next few weeks. But yeah, I'll drop a quick picture here. This is a picture of me in a flea bag motel. I mean, when I say flea bag motel, I could not describe this hotel room to you. You would think I'm exaggerating as bad as it was. It was awful. We were surrounded by prostitutes, drug addicts. It was incredible, but perfect for this movie. But you'll see Joey. She's on the slate board there, and the director is behind her, Derek. That's good old me, sitting on the edge of this bed bug ridden bed, filming. And there's a little. That's from the camera's point of view.
Now I have to ask, because you say
Yeah.
this is a flea bag motel full of prostitutes and
Yeah.
whatever. And you mentioned off camera to me about the room and how dirty it was. And
Oh Lord.
yeah. Are you absolutely sure that this wasn't set up previously by the film company?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Well, because when we show up at the hotel, the company had to go in and get the room key and do everything if we were going to go, because we were showing up to set up. They gave us a key, which was around the back of the building, and the building's falling apart. I mean, concrete's falling down. And we open up the room, and we go into a room where there are two people already living in the room with a cat and everything. And we go back, we're like, this key, there's somebody in the room. And the guy was just like, hey, here, take this room. And just gave us another key to a different room. And awful. The towels were folded, but they had already been used. I told you that scene in The Office where Michael Scott is on at like a seminar in New York City, has a hotel room, and he's throwing a party, and Dwight comes in and they're partying and dancing. All of a sudden, Dwight whips out a black light and turns the lights off just for a party atmosphere, and you just see stains everywhere. That's what this room is about. But it was perfect for the movie. We added to it with a lot of props and special effects and things like that. It was really cool. But
it just seems a little risky because they're filming a scene and no, that is spam. They're filming a scene and suddenly you hear noises from the prostitutes' room and things that would make them have to cut each time. Yeah. So
we did, and we had to. There were, but some of the noises were really good background material.
No, that's true. I guess
we kind of left it because I'm down and out in the scene, in the character. So it's kind of worked out well. And I just post a picture of the crew all around me. That was after the filming was finished that day in the hotel room. We spent about 11 hours in that one room. So the director's up there with the hat on, with the brownish hat on and the plaid. That's Derek Crucius. Great people, great bunch of people. Really a great experience. I got good compliments on my abilities, which made me happy because
I mean, I could have guessed that you would be really good at this. That,
Oh, thanks, man. It's it's not, it won't be out for a long time. I mean, this takes a long time to put all this kind of stuff together, but when it does, we'll let everybody know here on Material Issues. Sunrise, sunset.
what's their goal? Where are they trying? Are they trying to get this into con?
Yep,
Are they?
all the film festivals. That's the
Wow.
goal. Yeah, all the film festivals. So
And I mean, maybe it's too early to ask you, but you know, do you see yourself maybe being, wanting to do more?
yeah, that's a hard question. Wouldn't that be cool? But it's a
I
lot
mean,
of work. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's gives you a new perspective. I mean, I've always known that there's a lot that goes into. There's a lot of just waiting around as they set up for the perfect lighting and and then you deliver 2 minutes or whatever, 3 minutes worth of material and acting, and then it's cut, then it's reset, and then you just wait.
well, if they want 2 minutes worth of material from you, you're in the wrong business.
So now it was really cool. Yeah, I'd love to get into more things. Yeah, Derek checked in. He was watching the director. Hey, Derek,
Oh, cool.
how you
You,
doing?
you
So
hired
yeah.
you hired the right man, Derek. I have to tell you. So wait, are you considered the star of this film?
Not until it does well.
No, I mean you're the main character.
Yeah, I am the main character. I'm the main character.
Wow.
But
And yeah, and you had to do a lot of smoking, didn't you?
oh my gosh, yes. And, many moons ago, I smoked, but there were these herbal cigarettes, which is the Hollywood cigarettes, no nicotine and tar. But yeah, there were scenes where it was like light one up after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, and there's a lot of
Wow.
it. Yeah, just to get the shot, which was really interesting. There's a car scene which is great, but I have to keep flicking the Zippo,
Oh,
the Zippo to get that good little lighting effect. But there was a lot of a lot of smoking involved, which it's all part of the character. It's really great character development. But Derek wrote a great script, and the people involved, all the cast are fantastic. I mean, the crew, the cast and the crew, they're all wonderful. Made me very comfortable. I wasn't, I had to get pretty emotional on a lot of things, and it's not easy to do when you're put into a room with 8 or 9 people that you really don't know, and said, "Here, feel this."
yeah, and to be able to cry on command is a very difficult thing for a lot of. I mean,
I had,
that separates actors
no,
from non-actors in many cases.
yeah, but it was great. It was great. So I'm looking forward to continued shooting. We got a lot more things to shoot down the road here, and when it comes out, when it does what it's going to do, we'll let everybody know. It's pretty neat.
That's really exciting, and congratulations.
No, thank you very much. Congratulations to Derek for such a great project. I appreciate being part of it. So
Yeah, I mean, down the road we should have Derek as a guest.
that would be cool. That'd be fun.
Well, once the film is ready to come out and they're
Yep.
promoting it, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we will do that. That's a great idea. Yeah, it's good. Hey, real quick, I wanted to mention, anybody watching, you see my materialissues.com. We do have a few of these left. These are the long sleeve Material Issues t-shirts that I am wearing. I have one small, one large, 2 extra larges, and 1 3XL in case you're like a big nightshirt. If you want one of these, check me out through popdetective.com and just drop me an email saying I'll take the small. $20, PayPal me. I'll cover the shipping and send you a Material Issues long sleeve t-shirt. Or you can go to there's a website out there. What's that website that we had the spread shop? Yeah, Material Issues spreadshop.com. Pick up some t-shirts and mugs and things like that if you feel like it. So yeah, wanted to drop that and say, hey, pick up a t-shirt. It's all good.
And then aren't there short sleeve t-shirts that people can have custom ordered?
Yep, in that Material Issues spread shop going across the bottom there, you can order any color, short sleeve, long sleeve, mouse pads, whatever you like. Our materialissues.com logo to be on. It's there. So yeah, check it out if you feel like it. It's kind of cool. But
Nice.
these are physical ones I have in my possession right now. If you want that, so if you're the first one to ask for the small, and you got it, I'll tell everybody else I got no smalls left. You have to go to that website and order it up differently, but it's all good. Hey, I wanted to ask you a couple things here.
Sure.
The new NFL kickoff rule. Have you seen it?
No, this is something that's going to be enacted next season.
This upcoming season, just for one season right now. Do they see if it works? But they're mind-boggling. They're taking what the XFL is doing with kickoffs, and I'll post up a graph. I want to get your opinion on it. Here's the graphic. So if you look down below the second part, it says NFL hybrid kickoff. The bottom, you're going to see the defense lining up on the opposing team's 40-yard line. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
With the receiving team lining up between the 30 and 35, so right in their faces. And then the two receiving people back in the back, the red dots. The kicker will still kick off from the 35-yard line, but he kicks off and nobody can move except the receiving people until they actually touch the ball.
It's kind of hard to visualize what that's going to be like.
Well, yeah, it's kind of weird, and
what's the purported reason for doing it this way?
Well, to make the kickoff a viable play, still, but without letting people get up a full head of steam to take somebody's head off.
Oh, I see.
You see what I mean? Like the kicker still. See, I don't understand. The kicker's still kicking off from the same place, the 35-yard line, and 9 out of 10 kicks go into the end zone.
I was going to say what they really need to. I know. I mean, part of it is they don't want people injured.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, until they move the kickoff line back again, it's going to be, I wouldn't say inconsequential, but it's not going to make much of an impact because, yeah, just about every kick goes into the end zone anyway, and people, even if somebody receives it there, they don't generally return it.
And if the kickoff goes out of bounds, the receiving team gets the ball at the 40-yard line. If they can't do squib kicks, because if the ball touches the ground before something happens, then they get the ball at like the 35-yard line. It's all these crazy rules, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? This is weird. So
it does seem weird. Again, I want to see it in action before I make a final judgment. But yeah, it seems weird and also seems inconsequential given that so many of the kicks go. I said a lot of them just go out of the end zone completely.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
You said two things, or that was the only thing?
What to bring up right here?
Yeah.
I got other things I wanted to ask you about because I know. I think you saw it. Did you saw the remake of Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I haven't seen the remake.
You haven't seen the remake?
I've seen ads for it.
Should I ruin it for you?
I refuse to watch it.
To tell you how bad it is?
Well, but here's the thing about Roadhouse. In many ways, Roadhouse is one of my favorite movies because it's so bad it's good. That is the ultimate. So just so hilariously bad, implausible. You know, whatever adjectives in that realm you want to use. But it's just so hilarious.
But I got to tell you, having seen both now, and being a fan of the original Roadhouse, as bad as it is, I still think the original Roadhouse, the writing wasn't bad. I mean, the concept of what's going on is kind of over the top, yes. But I thought Patrick Swayze played a good part. I thought, what's his name, his buddy.
Well, I mean, Wade Garrett, played by Sam Elliott, is the coolest character.
Sam Elliott.
And that's the one thing. The one thing the movie has is there's nobody cooler than Wade Garrett.
Right, exactly.
He is awesome. Patrick Swayze was really wooden, in my opinion.
But that's kind of the way that character.
I mean, yeah, but it's
yeah. But if you see the remake, you're going to realize how much better Patrick Swayze was than this remake, right? Jake Gyllenhaal, awful. I mean, he's cut, he's ripped. The fight, okay,
Yeah,
the
I
fight,
saw that. Yeah.
but awful actor. There is nobody playing the Sam Elliott part, so there is no
Wade Garrett.
There's no Wade Garrett.
Oh, wait, is Gyllenhaal named Jack Dalton?
Yep, Jack Dalton.
Okay.
Everything is the same except it's in the Florida Keys at this nice beachside, whatever. But what'll strike you if you watch it, and you just have to listen to the dialogue. The writing is awful. I mean, it's so predictably awful. They're just the writing. You go, why would you even say that right now? Why would you do this? Why? It's just so bad. And the acting across the board, it just, and I'm not an actor just because I'm just doing this short film, but I love film and I love to watch it. It's just so, but it had to have been a money grab for Jake Gyllenhaal. He just,
yeah.
It was just awful.
When you say the writing's really bad, is it possible that it appeals to young people though?
No, I just think the writing is just really bad. It's not even, the conversations are just so hokey. I don't even
Well,
have.
it was pretty hokey in the original, but you're right. I mean, the writing had to be better. If the writing didn't have some element of quality to it, it wouldn't have been a so bad it's good movie. And I do love Ben Gazzara.
Yeah. Well, it's just
Brad Wesley. He's so sadistic.
Yeah. Yeah. And the guy that plays Brad Wesley in this thing is just, he's like, he looks like he's 16 years old. It's like, what are you kidding me? It makes no sense. You
better get him out of here, Elizabeth, because if you don't, he's going down, and I won't lose a second of sleep over it.
but they deliver that pretty good. Like Gyllenhaal looks at this one guy and he's like, do you know if there's a hospital nearby? Well, why would I, what do I care? Then his friend who plays a nerdy like guy is like, oh yeah, there's one about 20 minutes down the road. It's like, would you shut up? And then he goes, why would I need a hospital? Well, do you have insurance? Because you're going to need insurance. And it's just like, it's just stupid dialogue. I mean,
is it streaming right now?
It is on Amazon Prime.
Oh.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Free or pay?
Yeah. I mean, I think I pay for Amazon Prime.
No, I mean, I subscribe to it, but some of their movies.
It's free with it if you have it. It's free with it.
Yeah.
But watch it. I mean, it was painful.
No, I will. Now that you're
half the way through, I wanted to stop. I wanted to just leave and say, okay, but I just had to see where this was going. And it was just, if there are fans out there, I'm sorry. This is just my opinion. But the original is about 20 times better, if I can tell you.
I mean, it's one of my most watched movies because it's just so freaking funny without trying to be.
Yeah. Well, and there was a big part of the original that had, a sex element to it. And of course there's,
no, the sex scene with Kelly Lynch.
I know, but there's nothing like
Kelly Lynch is really,
there's nothing like that in this remake.
No,
nope, nothing. It's just, you watch it and we'll talk about it in a future episode. You'll be like, yeah.
I fuck guys like you in prison. Just great lines like that.
Yeah, there's not one line in this one that I can say was a really good line. Yeah, not even memorable. So there you have it. That's my review of Roadhouse. You'll have to watch it for yourself.
Right.
And then I saw.
Now that you mention it, I will.
Yeah. Then I saw what did I see the other day, which made me just feel old, and not for any other reason than, Sheena Easton. Big crush I had on Sheena Easton in the 80s with Downtown. What's that song she had? My Baby Takes the Morning Train or whatever.
Yeah, Morning Train. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a video of her on stage singing that like a couple weeks ago. And we all get old. I don't look like I did in the 80s.
Who I think did background vocals on that song? I know he did background vocals on several of her album cuts. But
John Borak.
Not John Borak. Tony Rivers.
Oh, okay. Well, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know he knew Cliff Richard, who had been assigned to do background vocals on the album. I think Cliff may have brought Tony in for it, but
Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome. But I mean,
There's one song of hers. There's one song of hers I really love called "A Little Tenderness." It's from her 1981 album, and Tony does sing. Tony does sing lead. Sing background on that one.
Oh, nice.
And of course, she had the hit "Sugar Waltz," which that one raised a few eyebrows.
Sure, it did.
It raised eyebrows along with a few other things.
But it's just, I mean, she looks good. People like to say, "Well, don't say for your age," but I mean, she's in her mid to late 60s, and we all get old. But it's just like you haven't seen her for such a long time, and all of a sudden, hey, it's Sheena Easton. And you're like, oh, really? But I'm in the same boat. I don't look like I did in the 80s, but I don't see that in myself, but you see it in other people you haven't seen in a long time. But she still sounds good. I wish her the best. But she just it lets you know, time is creeping on all of us,
Sorry. Back good. So baseball season starts tomorrow.
That's right.
And I can't wait. As a Yankee, I look, I have mixed feelings as a Yankees fan. They probably don't have the team enough to win, especially without Garrett Cole for the first couple of months. There have been some encouraging things, like Marcus Stroman, who they just acquired over the winter. He has pitched really well during the spring. I mean, that may or may not mean anything, but it at least is encouraging. Giancarlo Stanton, who had a terrible year last year, and has been vilified by everybody, given how good he should be in the minds of people. He swears that he's really, really trying. He's gotten himself in amazing shape, and he did have a game where he hit 3 monster home runs. Now, again, that may mean nothing, but it's better than if he was hitting 080. I mean.
I saw today the Phillies have the 4th highest payroll behind the Yankees, the Mets, the Astros.
Right.
They've got what they say 5 or 6 guys making $20 million a year.
Well, they've done pretty well, so it's been money.
And they rank their bullpen number 1 in the majors.
Right.
And, so they're predicted to have a really great year.
I assume they will. But tomorrow, I have the MLB package, which is awesome for me because when I travel, I can see again. And when I'm in Europe, we'll get back from a show, let's say, and the game hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
Depending upon where the Yankees are playing.
Yeah.
So if I happen to be awake, I can watch it, as it's happening on the package. Right. And they're all, and like us, all the games are archived, so I can catch them later if I want. So, really I'm hoping that baseball puts me in a better frame of mind, and that helps with my issues right now. But we'll see what the Yankees do. I mean, a lot of people are thinking, they're an 80 to 83 win team, which is what they were last year. I think last year there were a lot of people having off years. I also think Anthony Volpe is going to have a significantly better year than he did as a rookie. Gleyber Torres is not playing up to his potential. So there's always there are definitely potential indicators that they could do better than that this year. I think the Orioles played over their heads last year.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a legitimate 100-win team. On the other hand, they have a lot of young players who are going to improve as well, but I don't see them winning 100 anymore. So maybe the Yankees have a shot.
Are there any rule changes in baseball this year that are?
I haven't been following things as closely as I should.
I don't really think so. I don't think
there are either. I mean, spring training happens to come during my busiest IPO season, so I don't tend to have a lot of time to watch. But I have not heard about any new significant. I mean, they had enough the year before.
Yeah.
And we've talked about them, the ones we like, the ones we don't like.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever get with the Ghost Runner, but
yeah, I know. There's quite a lot that I'm not behind, but it's not. They're not making baseball for people of my age.
They're not making anything for people of our age.
No. Yeah,
which is why I asked you about Roadhouse. I'm saying maybe.
See, I look at it from that perspective, but I don't think so, because it's still Roadhouse. It's still.
No, but I mean, what I mean is you're saying the dialogue is just awful. Maybe that's what kids respond to now.
Could be. I mean,
we really need to find some guys in their 20s who would generally like a movie like that and see what they think.
But okay, going back to Roadhouse, but one of the nemesis is Conor McGregor.
I'm sorry?
The guy that plays his nemesis, like, in the original, Dalton had that other guy from the bad guys camp.
Connor was the one that he was the one that that Wesley punched out right in front of everybody. He was fairly inconsequential.
You're talking the first.
I'm talking about O'Connor. I'm sorry. There was a character named O'Connor in the original.
In the original, though, the major henchman for the bad guy. What was like the guy that he brought in to beat up Dalton?
The one he killed, you mean?
Yeah, the one he killed.
Yeah, I forgot what his name was. I thought it was like Jim.
Nemesis.
No, it wasn't Jimmy. It was anyway. What that nemesis was?
The nemesis in the new Roadhouse is played by Conor McGregor, the UFC.
Oh, I see.
Retired fighter.
Yeah.
And number one, it looks like he's just like blown out on steroids. He's just so monster. He can barely walk straight. But number two, he's an awful actor. He's not an actor. He's a UFC fighter, and he's got all these lines to deliver, and he just delivers them badly. And you're like, because it's his first film. And introducing Conor McGregor as blah blah blah, and he's just horrible.
I'm not so sure how great the guys in the original were either, but probably better than that.
But you got to watch it, and you got to give me your opinion afterwards.
I now that for at least for educational purposes, I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm saying, it's awful. My opinion. It's just my opinion. My opinion is.
I have a feeling it's not just yours. I mean, in fact, I know that for sure because I've seen people post about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And again, these are people who've seen and loved the original.
Yep.
I mean, in general, if you love an original, a remake is almost never going to do it justice. Anyway, it's doomed before you could even watch it.
But this is one I don't even understand why the remake. Why remake Roadhouse?
You just mentioned it, a money grab.
It's a money grab, I guess. Yeah.
That's the only reason anyone does anything. It's a business. Everybody forgets, we look at it as entertainment. We look at sports as entertainment.
Yeah.
Before anything else, these are businesses, and they're going to do things that are going to line their pockets. They see an opportunity to make some money. Why not?
Man.
Make the money. Does it really matter if it's a bad script? No, because Roadhouse was never supposed to be an Oscar-winning movie anyway.
Yeah. Oh.
So is the acting bad? Whatever. If people come to see it, so what? I mean, I'm not a big movie expert, but there are literally hundreds and hundreds of movies that were made for only for that specific reason, and the people going in knew that the movie would be bad. And they didn't care.
I actually had hope that this movie would be a nice remake. It'd be good, because I did enjoy the original so much.
I think no matter how good it was, it couldn't have possibly measured up in our eyes to the original.
Yeah, probably. And maybe, as you said, for those people, younger audience who've never even seen the original, maybe they look at this.
That's why maybe we can look online, get some reviews from especially young men, because it's not really a woman's movie. I mean, not to pigeonhole, but it's really not.
But I'll tell you what, I think the remake.
You could ask your daughters what they thought, but
I think the remake is more of a woman's movie
really
than the original was, because the original had better fight scenes, much better fight scenes. The original had much hotter women wearing a lot less clothing. I'm just saying, from a man's point of view, Kelly Lynch, hello.
keep your pet at home.
Yeah.
Remember that,
the
line
original,
about the blonde?
the original, who was the Toronto musician, the blind
Jeff Healey.
Jeff Healey, thank you. Fantastic in the original.
He was great at what he did. Yeah.
The multiple bands that they have playing in the remake, they don't really play a part like Jeff Healey played a little part in the movie.
Yeah. Right.
None of these bands do, and they're all, every time they show the stage, it's a different band, and that kind of bothered me. But the remake has like no focus on really attractive, sexy women at all.
Really,
it's all about Jake Gyllenhaal wearing next to nothing. And
the original had Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
And still, I still don't. Well, I mean, you can ask your daughters, although your daughters are older souls than people that age, so they may not. It may have no chance with them, but I'll be curious to see. I mean, it just may be awful to everybody. But again,
I'm looking forward to your opinion. Don't let my opinion sway your opinion. I want you to watch it.
You don't want it to Swayze my.
Do not let it Swayze your opinion.
I won't.
Dalton.
There's some.
You're Dalton.
There's so many amazing. I also love Kevin.
He doesn't even have a car in the remake.
Oh wow! Yeah.
He rides buses.
Oh wow! Okay.
All right. There's
Kevin
a wow.
Tighe was great in the original too.
Yes.
He's good. He's really good.
And there's and in the original, how Roadhouse had Swayze's all his compadres there. But besides Sam Elliott, you had 3 or 4 other guys, that played
the bouncers in
the bouncers. Yeah. And they played integral part of the movie. They were, in the new one, there's 2, and they don't even play. Their parts are so bit that they're hardly even in the thing.
It kind of reminds me of the Animal House Delta House.
Yes, exactly. Or even how great Dumb and Dumber was, but Dumb and Dumber 2 was really dumb.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, so
it was even though it was the same, they even used the same actors. It was bad, Wait, here we go. Facebook user popped it up. Here we go. Here's a critic's review I just looked up. Explicit reference that thinks it's a Western. It's more like a cartoon. While that may sound harsh, some of the Looney Tunes has qualities in this reimagining of the 89 Patrick Swayze classic work in its favor, especially in the first hour when director Doug Liman and Anthony Bagarazzi and Charles Mondre are setting the table for what's to come. There's a fun B-movie throwback aesthetic to Roadhouse that clicks. I'm gonna say I don't agree with that review. That makes it sound.
I'd like to know how old this person was who reviewed it. That'd be interesting. Was Roadhouse from 89? I really thought it was earlier. Wow.
I don't know.
Kind of like in the original.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be bigger. Yeah, everybody says that.
Yeah, everybody says that.
Okay.
And I can't. I don't want to give any more of the plot to you, because you'll see 2 things that happen to Gyllenhaal, Dalton's character, 45 minutes apart in the movie that that's impossible. You can't have that happen to you and live. And it's just, it happens. You're like, okay, whatever. But whoever sent that review in, thank you. That's all part of the the review continues in the chat. It's not favorable. Yeah. Thank you. It lacks a lot, but again, money grab, I guess. Fun stuff.
All right. Well, let's move on.
Let's move on to
music. Yes. Before we get into our top 5 segment,
Oh, nice.
wanted to talk about a new reissue. My good friend Steve Stanley did
Yep.
this one for his Now Sounds label. It's the band Glad,
Mm.
and it's a reissue called A New Tomorrow. It has the original Feelin' Glad album from 1968, along with mono singles of tracks from that album. And the band that Glad were prior to being called Glad, the New Breed,
Oh, yeah.
a bunch of their stuff. I actually have a New Breed compilation from the 80s on Psychedelic Records. But yeah, this is a band from Sacramento, and they're probably most famous for containing one Timothy B. Schmidt.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of their members, again, who went on to be a member of Poco and then, of course, the Eagles.
Yeah, indeed.
This is, yeah, I mean, as usual, this is an impeccable reissue. The liners are very thorough, answer a lot of questions that, fans of the band had for years. The artwork is great. This is actually a black and white photo, and it's colorized very tastefully in a way where you wouldn't know. I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that. Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, it hasn't been released yet, but of course, I got one at Dusty Groove.
Dusty Groove.
For whatever, somehow, some way, they get Cherry Red associated issues like 2 weeks before they come out. Again, I don't know how they do it, but I'm not going to complain. And I saw that one on there, and immediately I had to order it. So it's really good. I should talk a little about the album. It's a good pop rock album from the late 60s. Lots of harmonies, nice melodies. Little bit of some of the songs have a bit of a country feel. So you can see where Timothy Schmidt was, even though he didn't write most of the stuff, you can kind of see where he was headed.
Right.
But for the most part, it's just a really solid harmony-filled pop album with hooky songs. I mean, the band never went anywhere, unfortunately. They were on the Equinox label, and Equinox was one of those labels where, over the years, the rights of particular albums on that label became very muddled, and it took Steve years to find out who owned the rights to it.
Yeah.
Because Steve's only going to put these things out legitimately.
Sure. Yeah.
So it took him forever this was planned a long time ago, actually.
Nice.
But finally, he was able to get all the rights and get the right people to cooperate with him. And here it is. So I would highly recommend it. Nice. On the New Breed stuff, really cool garage pop. Yeah, I mean, that stuff is from like 66 and 67. And it's excellent. So I'd recommend this. I'd highly recommend it if you're a
Steve does great
always
work.
Does great work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have that. So now, do we want to get into our full-on top 5 segment?
Yeah, indeed. This could be a brand new segment. We've got a new board. Let me pull this up here. This is very cool. Let's do like this. We'll go like that. And here it is. It's called Material Issues Top 5. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean top 5 songs, top 5 albums. It could be top 5 movies. It could be top 5 TV shows. It could be top 5, whatever we decide that will be whenever we use it. Tonight, what is it, David? It's your top 5 tracks you've been listening to in the last week?
Kinda. Let's put it this way. I've taken one track each from 5 albums I've been listening to quite a bit.
Wow.
And I guess given the tracks, I put them in order of how much I like them, and I love them all, or I wouldn't be. They wouldn't be here.
Right.
Even though number 5 is on the bottom of the list, it's still a great song in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and for as much as you listen to in a week's worth of time, to be ranked anywhere in the top 5 is pretty cool. So that's the new graphic right there. It's actually a custom made board from Avocado Designs, a great company here in the U.S. They made this custom board for us, Material Issues Top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So without further ado, I might just take off the bottom and we'll see what number 5 is on your list, David. All right, you can tell us all about it. Here we go.
Well, before you take off the bottom, let me just say that number 5 and number 4 are a tale of two Marcos. We'll just
tale of two Marcos. All right. Yeah. Well, here we go. Material Issues Top 5.
Now you can take off the 5.
Number 5 is Stand Up.
Oh no, you've got it backwards. Oh no, I meant to.
Wait, yikes. What's backwards?
The top 5.
Was this the number 1?
This is the number 1.
Oh, number 1 is Stand Up by the Marines. So, because you had it number 5 on your email to me.
I did?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me see.
Yeah. Check it out. Hey, this is a brand new segment, everybody. Don't.
I want to make sure, because if this is my fault, I'm going to be.
Don't judge.
And given the situation I'm in right now, it wouldn't surprise me if I did that. But let me see.
Maybe I screwed it up because I've been tired too. You know.
That's true. You have.
I'm gonna find.
I had. Well, I wrote it as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the Noreen's is definitely number 1.
Okay. Well, ignore that. You'll see it. So let's just go top to bottom then. Number 1 is your number 5, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Talk about it. So
sorry about this, people. We'll get it right.
This is all good. So don't worry about number 1. Number 1 is actually David's number 5, and that is, what is that? Kensington Gore.
Oh yeah, Kensington Gore by Marco Rossi. Marco Rossi is an Italian who's lived in the UK for a while. Actually, I think actually he is born and raised in the UK. I should say.
Yeah, you're right, David. You had it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I read it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's my bad.
That's okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, you may remember. Some of you may remember a great band from about 20 years ago or so called Cheese.
Oh yeah,
they had 2 albums. Hey Lisa. Their first album, Let It Bree, you gotta love that.
Yeah, Let It Bree
is wonderful, absolutely great stuff, and I would recommend it to anybody who's like an XTC fan or just a fan of quirky pop with wonderfully tantalizing melodic chord changes.
Yeah.
Then of course the second album had an even better title, Enlarge Your Johnson. I don't even. Yeah. We'll leave it at that, right? Anyway, it's been a while, but Marco has released a new album under his own name called Since Returning from the Moon. And it just came out, and he actually signed this one for me, which was nice. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really good stuff. And this song in particular, Kensington Gore, reminds me a lot of an XTC acolyte who we all know, named Martin Newell.
Oh, love Martin Newell.
I know you love him, so you should love this song as well. So here we go. At number 5, it's Marco Rossi with Kensington Gore. Good volume?
Made to believe and make believe I fear. When you started meddling, you assured me that There's a darkness above me, and the heroes turn ugly. Can't you just be nice? Why'd you have to picture me in ribbons of scarlet, scarlet to harlot, in one disturbing transformation scene? I was packed at the party. My expression was hearty, but my heart was ice.
There you go.
Wow, that was really good.
Yeah, I mean the whole out. A lot of the songs are. I'd say half the songs are slower than that.
Yeah.
And half are about at that tempo. There might be a couple a little faster, but yeah, very talented guy. I mean, like I said, Cheese Let It Breathe was a big favorite of mine back in the year it came out. I think it was like 2004, maybe. Here we have the main man of that band, Marco Rossi, back with a new album, which you can get on CD, Since Returning from the Moon.
Let's show that real quick.
And that track Kensington Park is on it.
Kensington Gore, Kensington
Gore. Sorry.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
it's really good. I like that a lot. Yeah, you're very Martin Newellsy.
Very much so.
Especially Greatest Living Englishman sound of Martin.
Yeah,
Newell.
for sure.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, so many XTC fans out there and who are musicians, and they put their own spin on it, so it's nice. The next one is a band from London called Mark and the Clouds.
Here we go. The next one we're going to
I should have let you.
That's all right. The next one.
We should have rehearsed this.
Whatever happened to the future? Mark and the Clouds.
Yeah, Mark and the Clouds is a band from London. And I said this was a tale of two Marcos because the main man is Marco Magnani, who is from Italy, although has lived in the UK for a while. This band has had a few albums come out, one of which finished #2 for me about 10 years ago. This is their brand new one, Machines Can't Hear You. And it's really good as well. And so you can check this out on CD. It is, I don't know what label this is. Oh, what is it called? Gord de Nord Records. And here's the track, Whatever Happened to the Future.
Mark and the Clouds.
Check it out.
Stretches out ahead, but there's nowhere to go. What happened to the future? I turn to ask my friend, do you think it's the beginning of the end? I think it's the beginning of the end. What happened to the sunshine? What happened to the rain? It's not just about the weather, but things is a little strange. What happened to the future? Standing in the rain, waiting for the sun to shine again.
Somebody loves it.
Do you think the sun will shine again?
Yep. Really cool stuff.
It's zombie. I get like a little zombies tinge there.
You can hear that, yeah.
That's right.
So Mark and the Clouds have I think they have 4 albums now. They're all on Bandcamp. I think they may all be on CD as well. So I would highly recommend all of their stuff. If you like what you just heard, you will definitely dig this band. I was so glad to have them play IPO in London. Probably around, I don't know what year, maybe 2011 or 12. And was so glad to hear that they had a new album coming out.
Yeah, hold that back up again. Let's see what's the album called again?
Machines Can't Hear You.
Look at that. Mark in the Clouds, Machines Can't Hear You.
And nice cover art as well.
Great cover art, yeah. Love it. That's 2 for 2, man. You're 2 for 2 tonight.
Well, trying.
It's always good. All right.
All right. The next new album, and I say new because I think it came out last year, digital only. So let's reveal what this is.
So his third album or song we're going to talk about tonight is "I Feel Like a Dog" by Portable Radio. Wow.
Now, Portable Radio, this is their second album. It came out late last year as download only. So, of course, I didn't count it on my best of 2023.
Yeah.
But then in January, the vinyl came out. And here it is. Counting to 3 is the name of the album. What was I going to say? One of the members of this band is Robin Gibson, who is one of the main men of the Junipers, if you remember them.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Really great soft pop band from the Midlands. This is more just straight ahead pop rock, very sprightly, very upbeat, a lot of fun songs. The band is mostly from Manchester, but they've got people all over the UK, which makes it hard for them to play live, unfortunately. But they did manage to record this record, and here's a song that I really loved from it called "I Feel Like a Dog."
I Feel Like a Dog. Portable Radio.
You know that I feel like a dog, always hungry, and I need my belly scratched. Along, start to yell when someone knocks upon the door and slump upon the floor. I hate to cry, I don't smell so good. Sometimes at night, you're gonna have to throw this dog right off the bed. So maybe you should rest your head, yeah.
You know, not every song is quite as cheeky, like with a dog barking, but it's all very similar to that. Just a lot of really upbeat, sprightly pop rock. With
very much like Wesley Fuller we had on here last week. The little touches throughout that entire song, the little keyboard runs, the little things go on in the background. I love that, like that space age kind of sounds. Really, really well done. Really good.
These guys really know what they're doing.
Hold that up again. That's
vinyl only. So, or you can digitally download it if you want. course. But if you want a physical, you got to get the vinyl. Counting to Three by Portable Radio. And they have a previous album as well that finished in my top 10 a few years ago. So definitely check this band out if you've never heard them. Excellent stuff.
3 for 3 tonight, man. That's it's going to make my wallet lighter. Gosh,
Okay, cool. Up next is a gentleman. Oh no, we got to reveal it first.
All right, so number 4, which is actually your second most listened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get that right. We're just having fun with this tonight. Here we go. Number 4, a track called California Sun by Justin Levinson.
Justin Levinson, when I first met him, he was a young man attending Berklee School of Music in Boston. And he played IPO Boston. Then he moved out to LA for a while, and he flourished as a musician there. Played IPO in LA a few years. Now he's moved back to the East Coast. Trying to remember, I think he's in New Hampshire now. And he just recorded this record, which is Collimer Circle. And I'm not so sure if the CD is for sale by itself. He's selling the vinyl, which just came out, and I think either the CD is sold separately or it's included with the vinyl. I think it's sold separately, actually, but he just threw it in there for me. So I think you're going to have a choice between the two. Now, again, he used to live in LA, which might be the motivation for this next song. And it's really pretty. It's called California Sun by Justin Levinson.
Yes, fortune's a fickle friend. Some days it mocks and teases you. Some days seem to never end. Some days the feeling seizes you. Don't panic, don't you cry. Just look up to the sky. Feel that California sun. You can rely upon tomorrow. By your side when morning comes. If this brings happiness or
I'll tell
Now,
you,
go ahead. What were you going to say?
the first thing that popped out right there in the beginning of the song was the sound of the bass. It really reminded me, and I know I allude to this quite often, but if you took Klaatu's California Jam and True Life Hero and you mashed it together, and the compressed sound of the bass, where you really get that like cut through that boom, 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 and the riff, man, I love that sound. To me, it's bang on. It's just really good. That's just fun, sunny pop.
Yeah, a few things I love about that song. The chorus reminds me, not the chorus, I'm sorry. The verse reminds me a lot of the Sneetches.
Oh, the Sneetches,
Who
yeah.
remind me of Nilsson.
Mm.
So I definitely hear a strong Nilsson influence as filtered through by the Sneetches. I don't know if Justin is familiar with them, but I'm sure he's familiar with Nilsson. And the chorus, especially the background vocals remind me of the Partridge Family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things I loved, and you were talking about little touches, in the last pass of the chorus, there was a guitar that was added that wasn't in the first passes. I love that kind of thing. I really do. It's something that a lot of artists don't do, but it was nice that he put that little touch on here. It just made the song that much better.
I love that too. That's I'm very big on just those little flourishes, those little touches that maybe don't even appear for the entire song, but last verse they throw it in there, and you're like, oh, I didn't hear that before.
Right.
That's the beauty of listening to this stuff closely.
Yeah, for sure.
It's great.
Yeah. So the album is called Column or Circle.
Let's get that up.
I believe you can get it on his website as in either vinyl or CD or both, if that happens to be your bent.
Great stuff.
So yeah, definitely great stuff by an artist who I've admired for quite a while, Justin Levinson.
Nice.
And finally,
all right. Well, we already know what it is, but we're gonna release it anyway. It's number 5 down here in the bottom, but it really should have been his number 1 song of the week. He's listened to "Stand Up" by the Marines.
Yep, the Marines, definitely one of my favorite bands for several years now. They're from Utrecht, the Netherlands.
Okay.
And they have played IPO Liverpool several times. And in that period, they've released a few very fine albums. This one, no exception. Everyone Smiles, vinyl only, at least at this point. Just came out. They did their record release show about a month ago. And what can I say about the Marines? If you like harmonies, they are all about them. Last year, my number 1 album was by the Tearaways, which an album that was just filled with harmonies. And this one is, these guys don't sound like the Tearaways, but they do harmonize a bit as well, for sure. And this is a great one.
I can't imagine this is going to be better than the other 4, but if it's your number 1, it's got to be.
Well, it is to me, but it may not be to everyone else.
I can't wait.
I can't imagine pop fans not liking this a lot.
Here we go.
Here we go. Stand Up by the Marines.
Stand up for the hero that saved the little world. Oh, even your mother was once a little girl. When it all feels right, there's always something going on.
Man, that was a whole lot of awesome there. Man.
Beautiful, beautiful. Obviously, the Birds come to mind before anything else, at least for me. I'm sure Teenage Fan Club will come to mind for some people.
You know what? They're hard to nail down who they remind me of. Right off the bat, the opening salvo was like, oh, this is like Vintage Monkeys, you know, but then it went completely different, you know.
I'll have to listen. I'll have to listen for that again.
Play that opening salvo again. You've got it there. Just give us the first 20 seconds.
Okay. Oh, I see what
Stand up for the hero that saved our little world. Oh, Eve, your mother was once a little girl. When it all feels right, there's always something going on.
Yeah. I kind of hear the Last Train to Clarksville guitar riff.
Yeah, but the beginning was like, what song was that was alluding to there? I've never been this way before. The girl I knew somewhere.
I get that.
Yeah. But then it completely goes. I mean, it goes its own way. But man, right away I was like, oh, that reminds me of Monkeys. And then it went somewhere else.
My guess is, knowing these guys, they probably feel very complimented that you said that.
That's very cool. Well, there you have it. Material Issues Top 5. This is the very first time we did it. We got Kensington. Let's show the album again. Stand Up. Let's put it over there. Stand Up.
Everyone smiles, and indeed everyone they do when they listen to this album.
Now, when you got the vinyl, did it have a digital download with it, or
I believe there is? Yes.
Yeah, cool.
I think with all of these, you can go to Bandcamp and you can digitally download if you want.
Nice. Okay. Nice.
In case there's no CD.
The Marines,
Marines will be playing IPO Liverpool this year.
Nice.
I'm trying to remember. It's been a little while since they played, but we're having them back now that they have a new record to promote. They're out there doing that. So,
well, here's what's cool about the Material Issues Top 5. You can always go back to the archives and look right here at this screen to see who are these people you need to buy, and all of them. You don't have to go, oh, who were they talking about? Right there it is. Take a screenshot. Marco Rossi, Mark of the Clouds, Portable Radio, Justin Levinson, and the Marines. There you go.
And people, when people see this, of course, they're going to think that this is the order. But you know what? These songs are all so good that it's not a disgrace to be number 5 on this list. I mean, I love all of them, obviously, or they wouldn't be there. But so these are four albums.
I'm digging it. Very, very. All of them were fantastic.
That have come out. Hey, why am I not moving?
I just reversed it on you just for fun. Yeah, no, that was great. Those were 5 wonderful songs, 5 wonderful albums. Man, I'll be picking up all of them. Love it. Love it.
Good. I'm glad you are, and hopefully people who are listening,
Material Issues.
Others who listen later will pick them up as well.
Fantastic, man. That was really good. I like the segment. Digging the segment.
Cool. And maybe next time we'll do something non-musical or not. We'll see.
Well, you never know. That's why it's Material Issues Top 5. It could be top 5 anything. This week it just happened to be 5 singles that
it's been a while, and I could have chosen several other albums to pick tracks from because we hadn't done a show with just us for a while.
Yeah.
But some I've already played tracks from over the last few months, and others we've had guests for whom we've played tracks, so I didn't want to use them again. But these are 5 that I received recently, and I've been listening to a lot. So thought we'd start with them.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff.
Yeah.
I hope people go out and pick it up. It's all over Bandcamp and just Amazon and Google it, whatever, you'll find it. You follow our list, type in those songs, type in the name, get it. Great.
Absolutely.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, it's all good. How you feeling, man? We've been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. Are you up for Stump the Bash tonight? Want to hold on to that?
No. Look, I've got to live my life. I mean, I'm foggy, but I'm having a good time.
Foggy Mountain Breakdown. He's having.
I'm definitely having a good time, and if I blow this, then we won't do any Stump the Bashes until I feel like I'm 100% back up to speed. And I mean, we've got guests the next few weeks anyway, and hopefully we'll have a few more guests the weeks after. So,
but I'll tell you what, we haven't done it in quite a long time. But ladies and gentlemen, here we go again with Stump the Bash.
Stump the Bash, Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash, Stump the Bash.
All right, Stump the Bash. Get this graphic out of the way, and I'm going to let
I may even be able to fit in that jacket again now that I haven't eaten for a week.
Well, if you haven't seen Stump the Bash before, if you haven't tuned in for quite a while, it's quite simple. The years are 1965 through 1975. That's an 11-year period. David just kind of randomly picks one of those years and does it 5 times, 5 different years. And I'm going to give him a clue. First clue is worth 5 points. If he doesn't get it, all the way down to the 5th clue, which is worth 1 point. We keep the track. He has to get 15 points. That's an average of 3 points a track or a song year in order not to be stumped. If he doesn't get 15, then he is indeed stumped. I pick the random chart number, which is the year-end finishing Billboard chart number. So the song might have charted number 1 for 2 weeks, but then fell and ended up, number 72 for the year. That's kind of how it works. But tonight, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you happen to be watching, the chart position is number 59.
59. Okay.
59. So the way it works, David is going to pick out a year between 1965 and 1975. Some of these are a little tough, I got to say. Even coming up with clues was a little sticky.
It's the same thing you said about number 66.
I know. I've said it before, and you've blown me out of the water. I've also thought, well, this will be pretty easy, and he's been stumped. So we shall see. David, do you have an idea what year you're going to go with first?
Let's go with 1970. We'll
all right,
go right in my wheelhouse. Start out. If I can't nail this one, then I know we're in for a long night.
I'm writing down 1970. Here we go. This is chart number 59, 1970. Here's clue number 1 for 5 points. They're always difficult clues. This is part 1 of songwriter James Pankow's 7-part Bullet for a Girl in Buchanan song cycle suite.
So, have we not done this number?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, have we done number 59 before?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, that certainly sounds. James Pankow, of course, being, I believe he was the trumpet player for Chicago. He certainly was one of the horn players. I'm pretty sure. Walter Parazater played trombone. And Lee Loughnane, or Loughnane, however you pronounce it. I think he was Loughnane. So then maybe Pankow, right? Loughnane, right? Maybe Pankow played sax. I don't remember, but he was definitely one of the horn players. He was one of the principal songwriters of Chicago, but he didn't. I think he sang very, very few songs. Certainly none of their hits, even if he wrote them. But I believe this song, yes, is part of that whole suite, and I believe it's Make Me Smile.
You got 5 points right out of the bat. 5 points. It's Make Me Smile by Chicago, charted number 59, year end 1970. You can relax now. Big deep breath. You only need 10
that one
minutes.
I didn't have to think about. I have the album. I've heard it.
I didn't know how big of a Chicago fan you were. I wasn't sure if you would know James Pankow, but you killed it.
I can't say that I know all their albums like top to bottom, because there's a lot of, let's put it this way, there's a lot of musical excessiveness on some of them. They were very, besides being a rock and roll horn band, they had a lot of jazz influences, and there's some tracks where they really indulge in that.
Yep.
So I can't say that I love any of their albums on the whole, but certainly all of their albums have some really cool stuff on them.
Make Me Smile. What a great track, though. Make Me
That
Smile.
was that was their first big hit.
Great track. More of the clues would have explained more about it, but no use to doing it now. What year are we moving on to? You got 5. You only need 10 more points. You're sitting in the easy chair.
Well, of course, now I have to make it more difficult. So let's go with 1966.
Ooh, 1966.
Not a year in my wheelhouse for sure.
Let me rewind to 1966. Here we go. Charted final position 19 or chart position number 59, 1966. Clue number 1 for 5 points. An instrumental composition recorded in 1965. The record itself lists Granville Sasha Berland as the composer, but ASCAP, ASCAP, says the composer is Lou Bidot, aka Lou Bedell.
I have no idea, but I will pick an instrumental that came out in 1966 and hope it's the right one, because if it's not, yeah, we could be on a path to nowheresville here. I will go with No Matter What Shape Your Stomach's In by the T-Bones.
How did you know that?
Is it right?
It is correct. I said to myself, he's never getting this one. Because the clues are all difficult. And you got it. 5.
That was a wild stab out of nowhere. It really was. I mean,
No matter what. Ladies and gentlemen, he had no clue who Lou Bedell was.
No.
Or Granville Sasha Berland. And you get it. No matter what shape your stomach is in, the T-Bones.
There are actually some people who are very strict about instrumentals and would not count that song as an instrumental because it has some female background vocals on it.
Right, yeah.
So those same people won't count Tequila as an instrumental because they say the word tequila.
Yeah.
There are a few others like that. Some people are really strict. But I mean, to me, if it's just background vocals that are being used in a sense as an instrument, then it should count. And most people, 98% of people would call No Matter What Shape Your Stomach's In as an instrumental. And it's a great one. It's definitely one of my favorite instrumentals of all time. So that helped as well.
Oh, real? Well, okay. I didn't know that. I just couldn't.
No, I mean, but still, it could have been.
Well, no, it is what it is.
That came out that year. I could have picked them. I just lucked out.
It is what it is. So, I mean, this 11-year period I thought was going to be difficult. You've already got a perfect 10 points on the first 2 questions. So you're kicking it. You're kicking it hard.
Yeah, well.
Which way are you going to go?
It'll be 5s and 0s today, but we'll see. All right, well, let's go to the other end of the spectrum then. 1974.
Ooh, 1974. Let me fast forward my little thingy here. That's what she said. Got to get there.
She did.
Nice little thingy where we're cruising past 72, 73, and here it is, 1974. All right. Final chart position number 59. Clue number 1 for another 5 points, which would automatically put him in the not to be stumped category.
I've never done that before. I've
never done that before. This has never happened before. It could happen right here and right now.
Could you imagine? All right.
This song was the group's first number 1 R&B single, reaching that position in June of 1974. The single was a successful crossover hit, peaking at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart as well.
Oh, so you said it was an R&B?
The song was this group's first number 1 R&B single, reaching that position in June of 1974. It was also a successful crossover hit, peaking at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart.
Well, I don't think we're going to get a 5 on this one. July. That seems a little early for the song that I have in mind, which I think did better than number 6 anyway. And when you say it's the group's first number 1
R&B single,
number 1 R&B, that kind of I infer from that they've had hits before. That doesn't necessarily mean that's true, but
True. Yeah.
so what would be? I don't know if that was July or later. I'm trying to make my brain work.
Yeah, it reached that position in June of 74.
In June.
June.
Oh, then it's almost certainly not the one I'm thinking of. Now I have to try and pull one out.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't think I can.
We had an exciting moment there. We thought maybe it could be the first 3 5s in a row.
I don't think that's going to happen. Again, this is where I have to actually have a clear mind. Let me see, 74. First number one. So who could have? Yes. The song I'm thinking of is probably later than June.
If you get this one. But then again, I thought that with that last one.
Well, that was a wild stab that worked.
Great stab. Great stab.
It was. But this could be a lot of things. And again, if my mind was working right, I might be able to recall what would have hit in June. Let me think. So who would have? Yeah, I mean, there were songs that this group wouldn't be right anyway. It's definitely, you said it's a group, right? Or did you not?
I did say this song was this group's first number one R&B single. Yeah. Group.
I think this song is later, but I'll just throw it out there. Tell Me Something Good by Rufus. No, it's not. It's
Good
later
guess,
in June.
All right, let's go to clue number 2 for 4 points. It won't mean that he's not stumped, but it will get him very, very close. This is not going to give you a whole lot, and forgive me the mispronunciation of this if I happen to mispronounce it, because I'm not sure of the B-side, but this single was released April 6th of 1974 on the D-Light Records label. D-Light Records. The B-side was called Doogie. D-U-J-I-I.
I wish I owned it, but I don't know who was on D-Light. I should know this, but might it be Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang?
It is not.
Okay.
All right, we're down to clue number 3. Clue number 3 is for 3 points. It would put it at 13 of the needed 15, so we're still in very good shape. Record World said these guys have to be funk personified. Make way for their next million seller. It doesn't give you a whole lot more.
No. And the song I'm thinking of, I don't think hit that big. And was it even funk persona? Well, it wasn't. No, I think this band was on Westbound, so I don't think.
This is a tough one. This is
very tough.
This one was even tough to get clues to squeeze clues out of it.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we're going to go to clue number 4 for
I think
2.
we're seeing 5s and 0s this year.
The 5s and 0s. Clue number 4 for 2 points. Still in great shape. We still get 2 more tracks after this. In 2015, Nile Rodgers stated that Chic's 1979 song Good Times was partly inspired by this track.
Well, I know that song.
Mhm. Partly inspired by this track. It's like you try to sing Chic's Good Time in your head and relate it to this track.
I am, but I have no idea.
All right, we go to clue number 5 for 1 point. If he gets it, he's still at 11 out of 15. If not, it's a big 0. Andrew Hamilton of All Music called the track a slightly faster than mid-tempo song with whistles, festive ambiance, and lead vocals by keyboardist Ricky West. Whistles, festive ambiance, and lead vocals by keyboardist Ricky West.
And nothing's clicking in, so we're going to get a 0 on this.
Big 0 for 1974. The track is Hollywood Swinging. Cool and
I had the right group, but the wrong song.
I tried not to give you any kind of facial clues when you said cool.
I would say, you know what? I'd say even if my brain was working well, I wouldn't have gotten that.
That's a tough one.
You know what? It wasn't played much in New York. I don't know the track well, so no, I wouldn't.
That last clue with the word whistles in it, because there's whistling.
No, I know. It's a track. I don't think I've actually heard that song in about 40 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right. Well, 0.
I'm not ashamed of myself on that one.
But the last 2 tracks, if you just average 3 on each one, you are not stumped. But it does make it a little interesting what year you might go with here to try to give you a little bit more security.
Let's go with 1968.
Oh, 1968.
I don't try to give. I don't go in the. I don't necessarily take the easier years for me.
You don't. You do not.
74 normally would be. But the last couple of times, it was what? Keep On Smiling by Wet Willie and Hollywood Swinging. 2 songs I barely heard. So.
All right, here we go. 1968 chart position, finishing number 59 for the year. This one, I'm going to say this one's going to challenge you a little bit. So we'll see. Clue number 1 for 5 points, which means he is not stumped if he gets it. Released as a single in 1968, it was their second number 1 hit in the UK singles chart and their first US top 10 hit.
Second number 1 in
the UK and their first US top 10.
So, all right, this is something where if my brain was working, I think I could get it. But
you could match it. Yeah.
Let me think. So who would have had 2 number 1s in the UK, and you say they, so that means it's a group. Does it?
Could mean it's a group. They would be more than one person.
Well, not in today's vernacular.
True. Yeah.
That's why I was checking. Okay.
Yeah. Second number 1 in the UK and their first US top 10.
Okay. Well, something comes to mind that might be right, or it could be completely wrong. And I don't even know if I have the right year on this one, but I might. All right. Is it Give Me Some Lovin' by Spencer Davis Group?
Oh,
No.
no.
I think that might be 67 anyway, but okay.
No. All right. That was clue number 1 for 5 points. That would have put you over immediately. And now we're into clue number 2 for 4 points. Still in good shape, though. Still in good shape. No hope is lost yet. One of the writers said, in those days, the lyrics were almost pretty well done on the spot. I don't remember the fundamentals on how the lyrics were formed, except we were writing about a guy on death row. That was it.
Right now, that's not helping me, but I'm going to go back to the first clue and see if I can. I'm just trying to think of groups. Again, it may not be a UK group, but I'm kind of thinking it is.
Yeah.
Gosh, like only a few groups are coming into my head. Oh, wait. No, that's not right.
I see the wheels turning.
They're not turning. That's the problem.
Got to oil the wheels a little bit. He's not one to give up easily.
God, no. I'm just I'm trying to think of different groups, and
yeah. Sitting at 10 points of the needed 15. 4th year selected. He's getting into hazy territory here.
well, I'm totally hazy. That's the problem.
I just like my mild backing description of everything going on. It sounds like ASMR, those things.
No, not coming to me.
Very zen, but he did not get it on clue number 2 for 4 points. Here comes clue number 3. For 3 points, it would give him 13. He's still in great shape. Still in good shape. It was released on the Atco label in 1968 with the B-side, Kitty Can.
Okay. Well, what was the song that would? All right, I think I know it now. I think
The Atco label.
I think I know it. I think. Well, I know the group. I'm just trying, and I know the B side this time, which is rare for me.
Rare, yeah.
But I think it's "I've Got to Get a Message to You" by the Bee Gees.
Yes. 3 points.
You know how funny how I knew that. I don't think I ever owned the single, but when I was back in the early 70s, my parents and I would go up to the Catskill Mountains occasionally. You know, it's where all the Jews went, right?
Right.
And at one of them, it might have been the Browns Hotel, they had a jukebox. And I remember seeing that single in there, and there was this one girl named Roberta who I had an amazing crush on. She was so cute. She looked like Maureen McCormick.
Oh wow!
I was so smitten by her, and she liked me too, apparently. Apparently, one time she told my parents, "You have a very handsome son." But
Nice.
you know, back then girls didn't make the first move, and I was way too shy to make it. And I acted really goofy around her, and anyway, it never went anywhere. But I remember she used to play that song quite a bit on the jukebox and would dance to it, which I loved.
Nice.
But so I looked, and I remember seeing Kitty Can and think as the B-side and thinking, oh, okay, very cool. There was another time. Now here's another thing. One of my favorite songs of all time is "Incense and Peppermints."
Yeah.
I never knew what they were singing, especially on a I mean, that song wasn't well recorded to begin with.
Right. Yeah.
And on a transistor radio, you're not going to be able to make out almost any of the lyrics of that song. So I remember seeing that in the jukebox too. The B-side of "Incense and Peppermints" is something called "Birdman of Alcatraz."
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the refrain, when they're singing "Incense and Peppermints," I thought, oh, that's the song. That's it. "Birdman of Alcatraz." So I remember playing it once. I remember putting the quarter in, playing it, thinking I was going to get "Incense and Peppermints," and I got this complete garage song, which is actually a pretty cool song. But I didn't.
I have it on my jukebox. I have that 45 on my jukebox.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is funny because you're right. I could hear on when I listened to it on transistor, you could definitely "Incense, Peppermints, hobble-ly-hobble." I had no idea what was coming after that.
I mean, I never knew the "Incense and Peppermints" part.
I get "Incense and Peppermints."
When I was a kid, I couldn't make that out for anything. So even when I saw it printed on the jukebox label, I thought "Birdman of Alcatraz"
was the second part of the lyric.
I did. That's what happens when you're 11 years old.
Exactly. I wish I could go back. I'd go right back to 11 just to
Yeah.
experience that again.
It would be fun, wouldn't it?
Well, you got 3
What
points
am I,
on that, man.
13?
You're sitting at 13. You just need
Right.
2. You just need 2.
I finally found one where I knew the B-side. It's like so rare.
That helped you. That helped you, right?
No,
there.
Atco. Well, actually, when you said Atco,
You went.
first, I was thinking Cream actually.
Oh wow!
And then once you said the B-side, it fortunately it tipped me off. All right, well,
all right.
Let's go with a year that I'm generally secure with. We'll go with 1971 and hope I can get at least 2 points out of this.
I think you will. As I recall what 1971 was here. Let me find it. All right, yeah, all right. I think you're in safe territory here. I'm going to make you relax a little bit. All right, 1971. Clue number 1 for 5 points. Put you way over the needed amount. Here we go. The 1971 debut single by this artist on the Big Tree label was backed with the song "Walk Away From It All."
See, who the hell was on Big Tree other than the one artist I'm thinking of? And well, there is one other artist that was on Big Tree, but I wouldn't think that in 71, but I wouldn't think that their record would have been big enough. The record by the other act was huge in the UK, but not so huge in the US. But it might have been on a lot of weeks, and sometimes that pulls it in. But what would you say the B-side is again?
The B-side was called "Walk Away From It All."
So I think we already asked about the one I'm thinking of. But again, the other one I'm thinking of, and there's probably someone else on Big Tree I'm not thinking of. Yeah, my God, it'd be hard to believe it got up to number 59. But anything's possible, I guess. See, I don't even know.
You have 4 clues to work with, so you can zero around it.
No, I think the song I'm thinking of was already one that we've used, but I'll go with it. "Me and You and a Dog Named Boo" by Lobo.
We didn't use it before, but that's 5 points right there. "Me and You and a Dog Named Boo," Lobo.
Thankfully. Wow.
Good get, man. That's 18 total points. You started off hot. You fizzled.
Boy, did I fizzle.
You got
But again, Hollywood Swinging, even if I was completely, I would not have gotten that.
I
That's
know.
a
I know.
song. We get to 74 and 75, and there are going to be a few songs that I just never heard.
Yeah.
The other song on Big Tree that I was thinking of that could have been it was God. Now I can't even think of the name of the song. Dave and Ansel Collins. What the hell is it? What's the name of their hit now?
Oh, I don't remember. I remember.
Now I have to look them up.
Yeah.
God, I thought I had it in my head. See, I don't.
Uh,
Looking them up.
What was it here? They were. That was okay. Yeah, they were.
Double
Out
Barrel.
yeah, Double Barrel. They were
Double
out
Barrel.
of. Yeah.
Double Barrel, I think, finished like number 22 as its peak in the U.S.
I wonder if it says here. It peaked at it doesn't even say in the U.S. It
peaked at number 1 in the U.K. I know that.
22, number 1 in the U.K.
So I was right about the 22.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, I remember being shocked that I had not heard it at the time. But yeah, that was one of the first reggae tunes that was embraced by the U.S.
Yeah,
not embraced enough to get it in the top 100. But again, Why Me by Chris Christopherson, if I recall, finished really high in 1974 on the Billboard year-end chart, probably in the top 10. And I think I don't think it got up higher than like number 13 or something. It really was not a big hit, but it was on for 38 weeks on the charts.
Wow. Yeah.
So I thought maybe Dave and Ansel Collins was 22 and for 28 weeks or something, but no, I don't think so.
And averaged out.
But yeah, number 1 in the UK because they embraced reggae on their charts way before we did.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Good get though, man. Good get. 18 points blew it out of the water. You're good.
Well, I'm not.
Did not
stump. I don't know that I'm good. Again, my brain is not until I become, until things start working. I'm probably not. I'm going to be fuzzy, but
you got 3 5s out of 5.
Well, the one thing here's the thing: if I know it, I'll be able to recall it right away. If I don't know it, if I actually have to think about and conjure up stuff, then I'm going to have a problem. But like I said, Hollywood Swinging was one I would.
Houston, we have a problem.
I wouldn't have gotten that. And thankfully, on the Bee Gees one, you actually gave me a track that who's a song whose B-side I knew, and I even had a story about.
And that's the beauty of it. You had a story about.
Roberta, if you're out there listening, I thought you were awesome.
David still loves you. It's funny because I'll remember going to church camp, which had nothing to do with religion whatsoever, when I was 12, 13, 14. And it's funny, I can still remember the girl's name that I had such a huge crush on who didn't give me the time of day. And all these years later, I've never seen, she wasn't from my area. I never saw her again, but Gretchen Swank. I don't know why that name still sticks with me to this day, which is 50 years later. But
I wonder if she's related to Hillary. Probably not.
I do not know. But all I know.
I knew a guy. Well, this is interesting because there was this guy, Tom Swank, who played in Stratomatic leagues in northern New Jersey. And he was known for being really animated when he won a game. In fact, I think he was playing, it was one of the late 70s Pirates teams against somebody else. And this is for the championship of the Stratomatic League. And I think it's the bottom of the 9th. And he's got Dave Parker up. And he rolls the dice. And he yells out, 3-6 home run, and starts doing cartwheels around the room. I didn't see this, but Grossberg actually told me about that. Can you imagine? 3-6 home run. And his name was Tom Swank. So I wonder if he's related to Gretchen. Maybe he was her dad.
Isn't that funny though? I don't know why. And it's not like the crush went anywhere. I didn't even get a handhold or anything.
No, you never forget that.
I know that name just sticks.
I'm sure virtually everybody watching this show remembers who their first crush was, whether or not whether or not they said a word to them. And in a
I
lot
wonder,
of cases, they
you know
did.
what? I don't even think she was my first crush, but for that week, she's all I could think about. You know,
Yeah, that's
everything
what
we
happened.
did, I was always looking her direction. And I think I even worked the nerve up to try to talk to her or whatnot. And she basically was just like, and
Oh,
blew
really?
me off. And I just was like, oh, why, Gretchen?
No, the worst part for me with Roberta was that I know she liked me.
See, yeah,
Even then, I couldn't pull the trigger. I couldn't say, let's, I couldn't dance with her or, just say, let's walk and talk some. I couldn't do it.
that brings. I mean, that whole segment right there just brings back so many memories of being young and just like the nervousness of trying.
Yeah.
I remember in 6th grade, someone passed me a note saying, "Well, Jeanette really likes you. Here's her phone number. She said call her tonight."
Whoa.
And back then, when you had the rotary dials,
Sure.
so I can remember sitting there in my parents' bedroom because they had the phone in their bedroom, a second line, staring at the number for what seemed like hours, trying to work the nerve up just to dial the phone. And then you'd go,
Yeah.
and you'd get like 4 numbers in and you'd hang up. And you'd go, okay, what am I going to say? I'm going to say like, hello.
Yeah, that even if you know the girl likes you, sometimes you're worried. Like, what's your opening line going to be? I don't have one. Oh shit!
And the bottom line is, I did make the call, and she answered, and she went hello, and I went hello, and then I didn't know what to do after.
And you hung up.
I didn't hang up. We got finally get into conversation, but it was so awkward. And the thing was, I saw her every day at school, and we talked every day at school. We were friendly. But that phone call when it's just one-on-one and there's no one else around.
And you were probably saying, please, parent, don't let her dad answer the phone. Please don't let her dad answer the phone.
No idea what ever happened. I mean, she graduated with me in high school. She was
you never looked on Facebook for her?
She's not there. She's not there. But I'll look at an old yearbook from my senior year, and there are pictures in there, and I don't recall it ever happening, but I was part of the morning announcement crew that, over the loudspeakers, you had your morning announcements, and there was 8 or 10 of us that did it every morning. And there was the picture in the yearbook of the morning announcement crew for the senior year. And there were the 4 guys just sitting, and then the 4 girls behind, and each girl had their hands on someone's shoulder. And there she was behind me with her hands on my shoulder as a senior, looking really good. And I don't remember that picture whatsoever. But it just brings back the 6th grade memories of not being able to talk to her at all. So,
you know what? By the way, you know what else happened up at I met Roberta. This was at the Browns Hotel. I used to love to bowl back then. That's when it started for me, around 1970. There were no bowling alleys at the Browns, unfortunately. So I had to make do. There were, on the other hand, there were metal shuffleboard pucks.
oh yeah.
So what I did was I took 10 of those pucks and I arranged them in the same fashion as bowling pins. And then I took another one with whatever you use to move this. I forgot what you call that.
Those poles or whatever. Yeah.
And I would bowl that way. And I remember there was this, I'm serious here. There was this guy who had a trench coat on. He really did. And he started getting very friendly with me. Every time I would roll, anytime I would shuffleboard a strike or a 9 or whatever, he'd say, very good, David. And I thought he was just a nice man.
Yeah.
Thank God nothing happened.
Until he said, good stroke, David.
I wouldn't have known what that meant. But, I mean, I was waiting for him. Looking back, he could have done whatever, and this was right. Yeah, I would do this out of the way of other people because I didn't want them to see me doing. Right. And it made a lot of noise also, so I didn't want to disrupt people. And so there's this guy lurking in the corner. Very good, David. Oh
Very
man.
nice.
Only
Nice.
looking back do I know what was obviously in his mind. Oh,
Oh Lord, good times, good times. Yeah,
could have been a very bad time, but yes.
could have changed your whole outlook on life.
Oh my God.
Ah, oh,
Anyway, all right.
that was
So
good.
we've
Yeah.
got over the 2 hour mark. Let's briefly talk about our guests coming up.
Yeah, we got 3 weeks in a row here that are going to be fantastic.
Yep. Coming up next, and next week on April 3rd, and I talked about. Wait, where's this record here? Here we go. We talked about this one in my review briefly. We're going to have one of the main men of an iconic soft pop group, or two of them, Sagittarius and the Millennium. Not Kurt Betcher, sadly, because he passed a long time ago, but his right-hand man, Sandy Salisbury, who has this is going to be coming out next week. Actually, it's coming out the week he's going to be on, the first weekend of April.
Nice.
Called Mellow as Sunshine. And what this is demos that he recorded between 66 and 68, just before he joined Sagittarius. And there's some really cool stuff on here. Some very pretty Nilsson-esque, just really some Betcher-esque kind of soft pop, but very spare because these are demos.
Right.
But
Yeah.
he's got such a sweet voice, and that ultimately wins the day with this album. And it's one of the new Sundays reissues.
Nice.
It's in mono, as it says right up there.
Yep.
So we're going to have Mr. Sandy Salisbury as our guest next week. He's
Awesome.
also a children's book writer under the name Graham Salisbury. And it's not hard to see that that's what he wound up doing. He has such a childlike disposition.
Mhm.
Always had a sweetness about him that that kids could relate to.
That's
Not like that Predator guy at the Browns Hotel.
until we get him on the show and he goes, yeah, I used to go to the Browns Hotel. Oh, really?
That was you?
That was you.
No, this guy was a bit older than
I
I was
know.
probably in his 30s or around 40. But anyway,
Funny stuff, though.
following week, April 10th, we have the great Linus of Hollywood as our
that's
guest.
nice.
Soft pop king of the new millennium, and power pop as well. I mean, cut his teeth with the band Size 14, who had a really good kind of geek rock record out in the late 90s. And then just somehow easily shifted his focus to softer stuff, and has put out several great records.
Yeah.
None for a while, though, but
No.
he's working on a new one. So we'll
Right.
talk about that, and we'll talk about his career. The first ever show he played was at IPO, and I'll always be honored that
Oh, cool.
he chose us to do that. So we'll talk to Linus about all that great stuff. And he actually wrote songs for P. Diddy.
Wow.
Well, here's how I'll just tell you briefly. P. Diddy would contact him and say, write me 10 songs. I forgot how much money, whatever. Here's this much money. Maybe one of them will stick. So, Diddy took a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure if any of them went anywhere, but hey, what a gig to have, right?
All you got to do is get one on the album that's a hit. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter whether the single's a hit or not.
Also, he also produced Bowling for Soup, which is another great geek rock album, Greek rock band of more recent vintage.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he certainly, that's in his wheelhouse. Yeah, but he can do anything.
That's going to be an
He's
interesting.
writing songs for P. Diddy and soft pop and geek rock. The guy can do anything.
Yeah, indeed.
So that will be great, having Linus on April the 10th, and then April 17th. And who knows, this group could have been the answer to
his question?
Stump the Bash question, but hasn't yet, as far as I know.
Not yet.
This group, of course, had two big hits in the later part of the 60s, Red Rubber Ball and Turn Down Day. as well as 2 wonderful albums from that same period, and a bunch of singles that were great that didn't make the albums, all on Columbia Records. Then they broke up, but they're back. At least the surviving members are back.
Yep.
With a few new people, and a brand new album on the Big Stir label. Shout out to Rex and Christina. The album's called Revival, and indeed it is.
Nice.
The band is called The Circle. And this is a really good record. It's not just a nostalgia trip. They're still vital, and their main man, Don Daneman, can still sing those high notes. His voice is still beautiful. He's got to be near 80 right now.
Wow.
And he still can sing, and he's going to be our guest on Material Issues.
I've got a few people that are looking forward to that episode. Yeah.
I'm sure. And I'm really curious to see how this all came about, how it came about that the band decided to get back together, how they ended up on Big Stir, what Don had been doing in the meantime. I know he was also a jingle writer, as was another member of the band, Tom Dawes. And I know Tom Dawes has a record out of his jingles, and they're very, they're very Circle-esque.
Yeah.
So you should pick that up if you see it. But anyway, here we go. Don Daneman on April 17th, talking about the band and their new album, Revival.
Awesome.
So there you have it. And we've got irons in the fire, for sure.
Sure do.
I'll say my goal is to contact a couple of drummers of some really cool bands from back in the day and see if we can get them to become our guests. That would be great. And we'll see where it goes.
We'll see where it goes. So if you want to know where it goes, make sure you subscribe on YouTube at materialissues.com, or you join the Facebook group here. And every Monday or Tuesday, we'll drop a note saying, here's what's happening on Wednesday. So you can watch it. And all the archives are there. Materialissues.com. This is episode number 147 we're finishing. We're 3 away from 150.
Yeah, it's amazing. When we started this, I don't think we really envisioned getting this far. We thought when we started, we didn't even know we were going to have guests. That was kind of an idea that came after episode 2.
Yeah, indeed.
And it's been fun. It's been fun having guests, and it's been a different kind of fun, just doing the show with the two of us. So
we're at the 2 hour and 10-minute mark.
That's what happens when we don't have guests. Although there were a couple of shows where we did have guests where we went over 2 hours.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It doesn't happen that often.
No,
but
it's always fun. It seems to go like that.
Yeah, it does. And, we really appreciate those of you who hung out and stuck with us this whole time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Materialissues.com. You can pick up, go pick up these groovy shirts that Mark is modeling well. Yeah, there you go. And, pretty soon Mark's going to be a famous actor, and he's not going to admit that he knew you. So you better jump on this bandwagon when you can.
I'll be a guest on materialissues.com.
That's right, you will when you're too big to be a co-host, and I have to get somebody else.
I'll just go like this. I'll go, and there he is. You're going
to become a star, and you're not going to have time for us, and I'm going to have to get John Borak.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, man. I apologize in advance
I know.
for that.
We love John.
Yeah, we love John.
He would be a great co-host if.
Well, he has. He has
been the Joan Rivers of Material Issues, guesting when one of us can't, or he's guested when I've been in Liverpool from the Cavern. He's been your co-host then, and I look forward to doing that again. So there you have it.
It's all good. Well, we appreciate everybody hanging out, all our friends, just having a good time. And next week, Sandy Salisbury, right here, Material Issues, next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you then. David, love to Rena.
Love to Chaz. Take care, everyone. Stay well, and we'll see you next week.